All right, brings me great honor to bring to the stage your host, Louis Sabatasso, and as always, Darrell Hammond.
All right. What a tremendous set by Dustin David, our fact checker. And what a waste with 6 people in the audience.
I loved your
wonderful set.
I loved your monologue. I loved that
Really
whole
good.
early comedy, no respect kind of.
I tell you, since I'm a kid, nobody wants me around. All right. My wife's father moved us, has an electronic pacemaker. Every time he sneezes, the garage door opens. Okay.
Loved it a lot. So this
So
show,
good. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you for
So
letting
this
me
is
do that.
this should be like. Did you ever see that show Glow about the female wrestlers?
No.
Well,
Has everybody else seen it? I'm the only one that hasn't.
there should be a show about us trying to do this podcast and fucking big ass, fucking that
And-
intro
yeah,
music like.
Yeah, make it very dramatic.
So
and there's
epic.
Hear from the pages of the Bible.
Yeah.
Leviticus 13, it's Louis Sabatasso.
But you know what? We keep trucking along and we show up because this is what we do. This is the latest we've done a show. Darrell Hammond Saves the World / Summit show. Latest we've done a show. So the show, won't be over till around 11:30. I, of course, have napped every day of my life since I was like 15. Big napper, right?
What were you taking a nap from at 15?
Well,
What did you need to escape the pressures of like social studies?
I don't know that it was escaping pressure as much as I just really enjoy a nap. I'm just a nap guy. And of course, today, prime day, where I should have taken a nap, right? Have to be up, have to do this for the next hour and a half. There was no nap. Why? You know what, Darrell? I really just couldn't get home to nap today. I was just out. I was there, then I was here. Then I was in Santa Monica, then I was back. I went to my friend Allie's to nap on her couch. Her boyfriend was in the bedroom. He didn't want me there. Couldn't sleep.
Giving you the slightly woozy sensation that something might be awry in the scheme of things, huh?
Very much so. When a man can't nap and he wants to, now I understand why the homeless will go on the bus and nap.
Wait, huh?
Yeah, but they will ride the bus so that they can sleep in the bus. So they will get on the bus because, let's be honest. It's like, the bus is fairly,
the subway
fairly
in New
cheap.
York.
It's like the subway. You can get on the bus and kind of zonk out, and the bus is moving, so it's like a child in the car. It puts you to sleep nicely.
Yeah, I've fallen asleep on a bus before.
Yeah, you're really sitting up in those seats, though, in a way that's not all that comfortable.
I would think not. Aren't those hard plastic seats?
Well, and they're not really conducive for comfort, Anybody in this audience ride the bus ever? We all do, right? Everybody rides the bus occasionally. You have to do it, and it's not really comfortable, Darrell. You haven't been on a bus in a long time.
I've been on train. When I go to New York, I take the train a lot.
Well, the subway is a lot sexier than the bus.
Maybe. The bus
System.
is not. I don't know how anyone sleeps on a bus. Plus, there's all that fucking light. Sorry, I'm trying to take my coat off.
Let me help you, buddy. I'm going to help Darrell take his coat off.
Even though it's February in L.A., the Improv keeps it about 82 degrees.
Yeah, we like to keep it really steamy in the Improv because this is how we like to keep it.
You ladies, you'll have great skin.
Yes.
And big hair.
It's like Floridian skin.
Yeah, New Orleans skin. Yes.
What else? So what else happened with you today? Everything was decent day.
I don't know if anything good happened at all. I watched
Stuff about our country. There are 2,000 federal prosecutors calling on William Barr to resign.
1,100, yeah.
11 or okay. What do you make of it? Because in a minute we're going to bring out Aaron and Bridget, who are actually intelligent.
Yeah.
And they really know what they're talking about. Me and Louie are, I don't know. You might know, but I don't really know.
really know
I
very little.
ask questions rather dumbly but sincerely. And I'm going to ask, Bridget and Aaron the significance of, I thought it was 2,000.
Maybe. Well, I thought. How many was it? How many judges signed the thing? It was. I heard 1,100. Darrell heard 2,000.
Fact check. More than 2,000 former DOJ officials call on Attorney General William Barr to resign.
So we were both inaccurate. Darrell.
Okay.
I was more
Not
inaccurate.
surprised at all.
I was more inaccurate than you.
Yeah.
With my.
But you had the
number.
good bus yarn.
Listen.
The good yarn about the bus.
I mean, that's why I'm up here. You know, a good yarn, a good bus yarn, and a good nap story.
Tomorrow you're gonna get that nap.
Oh, I am napping twice. I'm napping extra tomorrow. Extra nap tomorrow. Yeah, I might nap. You know what? Anything past an hour and a half is really just a sleep. It's an additional sleep.
I text this is how bored I am a lot. You know, as I go along through life, I do fewer and fewer fucked up things. I use fewer drugs.
Fewer.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not on any drugs now, but gabapentin. But I mean, it's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, there's no one on your answer machine mad at you. There's no woman in your house that's not good for you.
That won't leave.
That won't leave.
Yeah.
And who's gonna end up trying to sue you. You ever have that happen? Ever been extorted? That sort of stuff happens. Like if you have a TV job, someone's gonna try to extort you eventually. But I'm free and clear now, and I text my friends. I'm about to take nap 1.
Yes, he does.
And then later in the day, time for nap 2.
Time for nap 2.
Yeah.
He gets usually about 3.
No, I try for. I don't go. It's usually 2.
You usually do 2?
2, and then they're not even long naps. They're just like, I just need a break from this reality, or I need a joint, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Of course I do. Sometimes any sort of exertion of anything. Be it a yoga class, sitting there and watching. Oh, by the way, this was amazing, and I'm going to say this because I just want you guys to know who I'm on stage with tonight. MSNBC this morning said Darrell Hammond is the gold standard for political impressions. Darrell Hammond, ladies and gentlemen, on MSNBC this morning.
And
yet we got 6 fucking people here.
6 people right here. But I know, I love WeHo and I love this podcast, and I hope people enjoy it.
We love it. But that was just extraordinary that, I mean, when you're called the gold standard, I know he doesn't want me to talk about this when I'm going to anyway, but when someone refers to you as the gold standard of something, I mean, that is like the standard by which everybody else is compared. Everybody else is compared when it comes to political impressions is Darrell Hammond, and that's extraordinary, Darrell. That's a lot of work.
Then there's all of the weird mindset of you can still lose your fucking job.
Yes.
I mean, you can be It's like you can be rounding second base in a home run trot and lose your fucking job. Show business is not like sports where there's if someone in sports, if the guy's hitting 300, he keeps his job.
Yes.
Not so in show business.
Not so in show business. But you know what? You are an extraordinarily and talented, amazing person that I feel very privileged to get to be on stage with and to do this with, once or sometimes even twice a week. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty good. It's a pretty good time.
Lou, would you say you're the gold standard of napping?
Yes. I would say I am the gold standard of napping. Dustin? Yep. Mm-hmm.
So who's the gold standard of basketball? That's Michael Jordan.
Right now would be LeBron James, but Michael Jordan in history but then you look at guys like Jerry West and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson, and there's a lot of gold standards.
It's pretty hard to name name
Most people would say Michael Jordan. You're the Michael Jordan of political impressionists.
Yeah, I've got a pocket full of money and I got no job. I used to know this guy when I lived in Hell's Kitchen in New York. He was a second story man. You know what that is?
Yeah.
That means you specialize at, I don't know, climbing a fire escape or some shit.
So you break in the second story.
You break in the second story.
Yeah.
And I saw him one day. I was like, Marty, what's up? How you doing? He's like, got a pocket full of money and I got no job. Which to him was glorified ideal. It's like,
Yeah.
that's what I came here for.
Yeah.
That's why I'm on this earth.
I was a ground floor man.
Yeah.
He's called
Started
the
at the
doorman.
ground floor.
I was not like you were like a
Stay down
thief.
No, listen, I was a drug addict, and in my pursuit of drugs, sometimes I did some things I'm not proud of, Darrell, and a couple of them involved, I guess, would be considered crimes of sort.
Okay.
But that's yeah. I think that's kind of that's just kind of what has. I mean, listen. When you're any other drug addicts here tonight besides myself and Dustin and pretty much everybody else on the show?
Well, I'll tell you, when I lived in the French Quarter in New Orleans, they called me Professor Cray Cray.
Yes.
Now you have to think about that for a second. To be so crazy,
In the
to
French
act so
Quarter.
crazy that they gotta give you a title, they gotta give you a moniker. Okay, there are people down there who think they're vampires that don't get monikers. I mean, there are people walking around with fucking fake teeth in, and they think they're vampires, and no one goes, "Oh, he's crazy."
But you.
But me, the Saturday Night Live guy, is like, "Oh yeah, that's Professor Cray Cray. He's a professor of nutty."
Well, that's an achievement, and that is why we're here. Does
Yep.
this thing keep going in and out? It does, right? Do we need another battery in this? Hold it higher. I have not taken it off the chin area. It's as high up. Don't hold the bottom. Oh, up here? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Should we bring up?
Yeah, let's bring up the legit folk.
Let's bring up the legit folk. We have Aaron Lyles, our political strategist from Common Ally, and from Dumpster Fire, Bridget Fedesi, our cultural strategist. Hi. Hi, guys.
Oh,
Hi. Before we continue, I just want to say you notice that Bridget and I are wearing powder hoodies. We are sponsored by Powder LA, which is a hoodie brand. And it's called Powder, so I guess
They make like for the Dodgers and shit, right?
no, they
I mean,
don't.
I want one of those hoodies. They're the best hoodies I ever saw, but I'd like one with a zipper if I could get
Yeah, well, we're getting ones with zippers made, but we are we're sponsored by Powder LA, which is, you think of powder, and you think of white powder, you think of maybe
Thank
think of
you.
something other than skiing, but it's a cross reference. It's powder snow on the ski slopes, powder cocaine in the nut that I bite, and there we go. What's happening in the
Folks
politics?
love powder.
Folks love
No
powder.
matter what form it comes in.
Folks love powder, and we love powder, and that's why we rock our powder hoodies up here.
It's pretty ironic that we're sponsored by Powder.
It's really ironic if you know my history. I can't speak for anybody else's.
Can I start with Aaron? Because I've been wanting to ask him this.
Please.
What are they so fucking pissed off at William Barr about?
Yeah.
Why do they want to get rid of this
Yeah,
guy?
I don't know. He's doing a great job. He's for the people.
He's the attorney general. He's the top cop in the land.
Top
He's
cop.
the top cop. Yeah, he's basically a personal attorney for Trump at this point, and
That's what they're supposed to do, right?
That's no, that's that's not actually.
Just
their
learning
job.
Wait,
things.
is this a situation where he's going after Trump's enemies, or what are they doing?
I
What are they
don't-
saying on the Commie Channel?
The Roger Stone thing, the Michael Flynn thing, like, appointing prosecutors and, suggesting lighter sentences for people for his own prosecutors who said it should be 7 to 9 years. That's a little dicey. And I mean, those are the red flags. That's why you have all these, people coming forward and saying he should not be there. To your point of, what was it, 2000?
Over 2,000.
And you weren't
people
wrong.
signed.
Your 1,100 was
Yeah.
like 2 days ago. I think more people
Okay.
would come out.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know. I seem to, and it seems to be that, and again, I'm very much in the center of this stuff. I'm just an observer. But I seem to recall a Democrat by the name of John F. Kennedy, who had his brother, Robert Kennedy, as the Attorney General. I'm pretty sure Robert was there to protect John. So this is not something new, but yet they want to say that. Yeah, I think about that when I think of people saying Barr is in there as Trump's personal attorney. This is not the first time something like that has happened.
How do you keep up on all this with all the naps?
It's because of the naps.
I'm really
because-
jealous.
it's
I didn't
because
know
of
you
the
were in the
naps.
nap plan.
We have a fact check.
Well, it says the group claims that Barr has done the president's bidding, and those actions have caused damage to the Department of Justice.
Well, that would be that's
That's why they're coming after him.
that answers that question.
Well, John, are you sure he was doing this? RFK was doing the same thing as that?
No. I don't know that RFK was doing damage to the Department of Justice.
Was it?
No.
Didn't your brother or your dad? Someone brought that up last time as well. I think.
Probably my brother.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
some Kennedy fans out
My,
there.
my brother and father are both from deep Orange County, which almost feels like saying deep like Siberia or Russia because it's so different than up here in the LA.
Are there young folks here who don't know who the Kennedys are?
God, I hope so.
Well, it's possible. They're this. They're this.
That
they
would be
were They were
amazing.
once known as the most powerful family in politics, and yet they spoke in a weird manner.
They did.
They talk like this all the time. And I've been to Massachusetts more than any living human.
Never heard that accent.
I have never heard anyone talk like the Kennedys. So I'm pretty sure they just one night just made this shit up. They just they're like smoking a joint, like, you know, it'd be really funny if we talk like this all the time. John, give it a try. No, yeah, that worked. Daddy, say, park the car, park the car, park the car, park the car in the water, under the bridge.
I mean,
That's hard to get 6 people to laugh at.
it's true.
That's a Kennedy joke. You know, they actually had a cousin named, what was his name? That Michael Skakel was convicted of beating a girl to death with a golf club, was it? Is that true? And he says he couldn't have done it because at the time he was in a tree masturbating.
Oh,
Which,
well, that makes me feel better.
like, only in the Kennedy family would that be considered an alibi. Like,
Yeah, it's like he is a Kennedy.
I was in the bathroom beating the bishop under the bridge. Sorry.
But it is what,
They have espresso. They lubed me up, and now here I go.
I think it's beautiful.
But which
yeah.
part of Boston is that
I think that's
accent
the
supposed to
vineyard.
be from?
The
I think
vineyard?
it's a vineyard, isn't it?
I'm from Rhode Island. I've never heard that accent
I've
in my
never
life.
heard anyone make that sound.
What
What
part
is
of
that
Rhode Island?
fucking sound?
And it's bizarre.
Ensure the survival and success of liberty. Even like John Kerry, because you guys aren't nerds like me, but
Tried
I
to
used,
do
I
it,
used to
yeah.
study these people, and the Democrats for the longest time, their coaches, everyone, they all have coaches. Their coaches would tell them to do some Kennedy stuff up there, and with Republicans, it was Reagan. So you even would see Democrats doing the head wet, and then I mean, like Al Gore when he was running, I'm going to quote him. I'll support a woman's right to choose. He did again. And then John Kerry was like, we must balance the budget before the year 2015. Oh, no, there isn't way.
It's like Bogart era, like that.
Aaron, that's why people like Bush, because he speaks plainly.
Yeah, exactly. And
Bush and
And
Trump.
Trump,
I
yeah.
think what they coach them on the right is we're going to give you a total of like 20 words that you can use
Forever.
and you
It's
use
lifetime.
these 20 words, and we keep it very simple, and we repeat the same thing over and over again, and it works.
There's
actually
going to
truth
come a
to that.
time when people stop calling Trump a dope. You know, he's a, right?
I
You don't
yeah.
think he's a dope, right?
I don't. I do not think any man who's quietly appointed 200 federal judges while everybody's laughing at his hair and his spray tan as a dope. I think
No.
the guy is like changed Washington single-handedly. And Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's the world destroyed themselves, banging themselves up against this guy.
We had a fact
How is
check
that
on
guy a
something.
dope?
We
I'm
had-
sorry. Go ahead, Dustin.
Not a fact check, more of a point of clarification. When you say change the face of Washington, did you mean for better or worse?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. I mean, I think who knows? That's the one thing. Listen, I'm no Trumper. But I will say that we don't know yet. It obviously was a system that a lot of people feel like just didn't really work that great. Like Washington, and he is destroying that now. My whole thing with Trump is at what cost? Economy is great for some people. At what cost? He's decimating the entire system in Washington. At what cost?
But decimating the system and improving it because it was fucked up are two wildly different things.
Yes, they are. I like Bridget's take on this.
Oh no, I don't have a take on this. I'm just here to observe.
Bridget,
I'm just a quiet observer.
I like watching Amy Klobuchar with her makeover that she has now, that she's like, getting up in the third place now consistently. So she has like this whole makeover thing going. She looks great. I mean, she really looks attractive.
you look great, Amy. You should come on the show.
But
To really improve your campaign.
but there's an inherent humanity to her that's evident to me, and I think that if she goes up against that bad boy, he's gonna really hurt her. Bad.
Is she the one who beats her staff members?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
allegedly.
I
Wait,
think she
say
can
that
hold her
again?
own.
Say that she does what?
She allegedly abuses her staff members.
She doesn't beat. She was
verbally
verbally
vicious.
says she
That was
verbally.
hyperbole.
Yeah.
It's
no.
allowed in a
And
comedy
she
club.
slaps him around,
Yeah.
wears a strap on, and
It gives
Sorry.
me hope for her, though. I feel like she could go
If
up.
she
against-
did do that, she'd probably be
He's
high
gonna-
in third.
he's gonna hurt her real bad.
I
Well,
don't
what's he gonna do to little Mayor Pete?
He can't score on Pete.
You always say that because you can't go in the end zone on Pete.
Yeah, he's got no end zone.
He's got no end zone.
What are you gonna criticize him about? Being gay? Not possible.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think Trump would really try something?
We're talking about a guy who was
I
in
do,
front of
yeah.
his rally making fun of, you got this person here, woo," doing that. But
I
a
know, but-
disabled person, why would he not? He doesn't, Trump can't control himself. He will fucking say something in one of those debates for sure.
This is what
100%, which is amazing.
I don't
Mayor Pete
understand.
is a butt bandit, okay? A butt bandit. He can't say that. Light in his loafers, okay? He can't say light in his loafers.
He's gonna say something. He's gonna be, it might just be a face like, yeah, you know,
He'll do that. He'll do like
Yeah.
a half.
we know what's gonna be going on in the White, come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's gonna have to. I mean, we know what he'll do against Sanders.
Well, he'll plead socialism, but he won't ever get in a debate stage with Sanders. Could hold his own with him in a debate.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll get on a debate. I mean, he has to.
They
have not had a
he
president
said he's
before?
not
Well,
going
I
to do
think
it.
he's more powerful if he doesn't. I'm not saying that's what he's gonna do, but like, I can totally see him. Why would I debate you?
Why would he?
You're not worth it.
For what?
What do I need it for? Like,
Yeah, my stance is pretty clear. I say it every day
Yeah.
in front of the fucking helicopter.
yeah.
You know exactly what I'm not. You know exactly where I stand.
Why do you think he always? What is that? What is that? That he? There's not been a regular press briefing at the White House in over a year, and he just got into this thing where he would answer his own questions only when he's walking to the fucking helicopter
And when he's yelling.
and when he's yelling.
I think to me, I just go back. I think I told Louis one time, I could look at clips of Trump for the week, and then I could go into Sun Tzu's Art of War, and show you. Oh, here it is on page 13. Here it is on page 14. Where all you do is deceive your opponent. All you do is keep them confused. That's what you do. That's how you fight. And Trump is on, the boat. At 10 o'clock in the morning, there's a ship going to Korea. But not at 2. But then it is again at 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I think there's this person that comes on Morning Joe, I mean, she's supposed to be smart, right? She's a journalist, and every day she goes, "Look, this guy's a dope. He's not smart enough to." I'm like, man, I just don't believe it. I believe he understands power. Like, does that? Am I?
No, I mean he went from a reality show to the president of the United States. No
I mean,
matter,
come on, he
no
cut
matter
it-
what's involved in that path.
Cut his teeth with the. I mean, American mafia,
Well, this is
who
also
ran New York City at that time and ran the building business. So.
I'm curious to ask. I mean, obviously, this is a L.A. crowd. I can't imagine there's a tremendous amount of Trumpers in this room. Is there anybody who still believes that Trump is really just a moron? Really, you still think he's just a moron?
I'll say
What about Bannon? Maybe everyone else says Bannon.
Bannon or Stephen Miller? Stephen Miller, you mean the immigration?
Is that right? He reads Art of War? Because it's like one Sun Tzu move after another. I mean,
This
Sun Tzu-
gentleman has.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's pulling the strings behind Trump, and he's some puppet that people are playing around with. I mean, if you look at what he's done in the Republican Party, he's fundamentally transformed several of their economic positions. I think that Trump is a moron in that he has no idea what he's talking about, and Republicans abet him. They say, yeah, he said these stupid things, but he's winning us federal judges, and he's passing these tax reforms that he doesn't really know anything about,
Yeah.
but we're winning. And
like
he's
like
kind
the
of-
phrase "I before E, except after C." He doesn't
yeah.
know that.
And when it comes to things, like, I think a lot of the electorate, if you want to say Trump is a moron, a lot of the electorate doesn't really know a lot about issues or policies or how they work. But Trump is smart in that he has somehow infiltrated the Republican Party and taken positions in a lot of ways that don't look that different than Bernie
So you
Sanders
just called
about
him
4 years ago.
You just called him
No.
smart.
No, I think that Trump is, I don't want to say smart. I mean, I think this is,
I think he has an intuition.
I think that he knows how to play people.
Is that
And there's a difference between, I'm an academic and I'm smart in certain areas, but if you put me in situations, I don't
he'll steal your
I have
wallet.
no charisma. I have no.
You are very charismatic, first of all. But would you agree with this?
to an audience of 6.
Would you agree with this? Right? Trump-
The point I'm making is that Trump is a moron and knows nothing about the technical policies. He's not a politician. He doesn't know how things actually work, but he knows how people work. He knows how
Yes.
showmanship works.
So that's
and
not-
politics since the '60s has been a show, and he's turned it into he's the culmination of reality show politics. He's mastered that, and now he's making the Democratic Party play that because a lot of the impeachment was, well, we know we're not going to win,
Right.
but we have to hold on to our base as well, and hopefully peel off enough voters that are in the middle and maybe Republicans that are increasingly uncomfortable. We have to put on a show for them to get them to come to our side.
Even a show
So
that
he's
everybody
changed
knew.
politics.
Everybody knew how that show was going to end. Is where I think that Donald Trump, and I've said this many times on here. Donald Trump is an expert in 2 areas: media and litigation. And he set it up to where everything now is played in those 2 areas. Everything's played in the media and in litigation. And those are 2 areas he's done his entire life.
Can I do the one disclaimer that I am a liberal Democrat and I'm within the party. I'm by no means a Trump supporter, but liberal Democrats need to look at Trump and recognize what he's done and respond to it.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, if you look at British politics, look at what happened to the Labor Party.
Right,
Don't
exactly.
let that happen to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
It's like the Democratic Party. That was amazing. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank you.
What's your name?
Zach.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Zach. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks,
give it up
Zach.
for Zach. But right before we bring the guests up, I just want to say this, and I said this to Bridget a couple days ago. This time in 2016, this exact time, Donald Trump had won New Hampshire, or he had won Iowa. He was winning New Hampshire. He had just won New Hampshire. And nobody in the Republican Party was happy about it. Nobody. But they let the process play out. The Democrats have still not learned. They're not. You have to just let it play out. If Bernie gets the nomination, he gets the nomination. You have to let it play out. Nobody wanted Trump on the Republican side. At the convention, they didn't want Trump. A month before the election, Access Hollywood came out. They wanted to pull the nomination from him, but they let him keep it because that's the process. Democrats don't trust the people in their own party to see that process through. That's my humble opinion, and I think that's fairly. Let's bring up our guest, Darrell.
Yes.
All right. No, I meant we're going to bring up Dustin. Who's our guest?
Our guest tonight is comedian and performer Ian Harvey, everyone.
Ian! Right there, buddy. Right next to Darrell.
Trump's a fucking moron. He's a fucking moron.
Why do you say that?
I mean, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't think that he's a puppet, but I definitely think that he is definitely being guided, and he is okay with being guided. He's not coming up with all this shit on his own. He's got a full fucking horrific. He knows nothing about policy. He's not writing any of these things, so he has a whole fucking staff of.
He knows how to put a knife up against someone's throat and how hard to apply pressure. I mean, D.C. is a rough fucking neighborhood. This cat understands power, how to use it, and how to keep it. You know what I'm saying? But he knows just how far he can go to put a vice on someone.
I think it's more of that. I don't think he's guided. I think there is a pact that was made. I think he has very clear objectives of what he needs in his own selfish ways, and I think the party will use that to get what they need, the federal judges
and the party has
cuts.
Become the party of the family. If you're familiar with that book and that documentary series, it's
amazing.
all the people of the fucking prayer
That
breakfast.
was a great
really good.
documentary.
Jeff Charlotte,
I
who
loved
wrote,
it.
you have to read the book because
Yeah.
it's way better than the documentary, and all of those people believe that ultimately there will be one king in this world, and that there will be a king of kings, and that Donald Trump is a path to that. And that is why they jumped on board. And so when you hear about the prayer breakfast, you go, oh, isn't that nice, all these politicians getting together and for a nice little breakfast. No, it's a power fucking meeting of all the right-wing religious zealots that do not want separation of church and state. They want it all to be one. They want it to be a Christian nation. And they're all fucking absolutely nuts. And they believe that Donald Trump is one of those mini kings on the way to being king, to get that king of kings.
You don't
it's
question.
Fucking so disturbing. All of those people believe that they can fucking murder and rape whoever they want, and that they are chosen. They believe that they are chosen, that they can do anything that they want, and that is all those high-powered political people. It's so fucking scary, and that's what it's about. It's not even about politics anymore. That's the game, is to make everybody think that, but it's about religion and like finding out who that king of king is. You know, it's fucking bizarre. It's so bizarre.
What were you going to say?
Oh, no, it's just that the whole idea of you don't question the vessel that brings you relief. That's how they justify it. And evangelicals to themselves. Is that he is a vessel that is bringing what they want it to be into the world. And so they're willing to overlook, because a lot of people say, how does the party of the family, how this is the family values, how do they overlook this? Well, they overlook it because they can overlook his moral indiscretions and say, it doesn't matter what his character is, he's bringing us the judges, and they're going to protect our way of life and protect what we are fighting for.
The family goes out and meets with murderous dictators. And Trump is, you know, he's not quite there yet. He's on his way there.
He wants to be.
He wants to be. And so, like, he's like a lightweight, you know, to them. They go out and meet with dictators and say, in the name of Jesus, we love you and support you, and it's not our job to judge you. So Trump is like the exact, like, puppet moron that they want to, like, get them to their next fucking phase of their development. He's just a step along the way.
Darrell, let me ask you this question. You had some personal experience with Donald Trump. I've had some personal experience with Donald Trump. Don't cue Jaws music. And everything you're saying, I understand. I understand people really thinking that. But my experience with him, and the more I look at the totality of everything that's going on, I agree 100% that everything Bridget just said, I believe to be true. He is playing the part. He is doing what he has to do for the Republicans so that he can have the power that he has. His ultimate goal is for the Trump family to be like the Rockefellers financially. That's his ultimate goal. And he knows the longer that he harnesses power, he can make that happen. And as long as he does the bidding of the Republican Party, he can do that. But the part that's disturbing, this is what I wanted to ask you, Darrell. In your time with Donald Trump, did you ever once remember him mentioning anything that these vociferous Christians mention about his religion, about God, about Jesus, about going to church?
No, you
ever.
Never, you talk about church? I know.
Anything. Because he doesn't. He has zero, but yet he's appointing judges that these people are like, this is the man. He's the first president that hasn't gone to church since he's been in the White House. But the Christian right is so behind this guy just because he's putting these judges.
Because
doing what he's doing.
they have a really good, I mean, isn't that the big goal, overturn Roe v. Wade?
Isn't that the definition of puppet, though? I mean, you
But
have
he
people
feels
telling
like
him who to appoint as judges.
he's the puppeteer. Trump feels like he is the puppeteer, and he's conning all these. He's like, that's why when people say, when people say, Trump, why do you lie all the time? Why this guy lies all the time? Trump, I guarantee you, Trump, whenever he hears that, he's like, he thinks of anybody who looks in the camera and feels they have to tell the truth as being stupid and weak. Like, why the fuck would you tell the truth? You say what you need to say. So anybody who's governed by those sort of morals, he considers that weak.
But I don't think you can say out of one hand that he is an idiot who can't control himself, and on the other hand that you said earlier that he really can't control himself, right? Like that he can't control what he's going to say, and that he just kind of shoots.
Oh,
from the
no. I
hip
was talking about with Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, because I didn't say he's an idiot. I just said the guy. He does not really have a filter of such, and he cannot control when there's somebody in the room that annoys him or somebody in the room that he wants to call out, he will call them out. It doesn't matter. So it would be very difficult in my estimation, for him to bite his tongue about Pete if he was on the stage with Pete in a debate. That's what I said.
Right.
I don't think that makes him, I'm not calling him stupid. I'm calling him, I don't think that he,
Poor impulse control.
He showed up to NASCAR, and he also went to the March for Life. So that's not a stupid man. He knows exactly where he needs to be.
It's like Howard Stern said. Howard Stern said, because Howard Stern knows him very well. He's been on Howard like dozens and dozens of times. And Howard was like, he's like, I don't know this. I don't know what happened to this guy. He's talking about the abortions. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's had a few. He's like, I don't know. And Trump, Howard Stern was like, I can't really. But he's basically saying, like, I know this dude is like, and now it's that's the part that's just so hypocritical. It's difficult that's the part that's difficult for me to get my head around, is that sort of hypocrisy. I just hate hypocrisy. I hate it. I hate it with Pelosi. I hate it with Schumer. I hate it with McConnell. I hate it with Lindsey Graham. I hate it with the Trumps. I hate it, Darrell.
I hate it to me.
All right, then. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I'm still hooked on the puppet thing. He just has a fucking. I'm sorry, Mike. It's a very definition of puppetry that he has a team of people, and from not just his own team, but people from other countries that need shit from him, that tell him what they need him to do, that he's very much doing. Like the Ukraine thing was not just about digging up dirt on Biden. It was to Russia's advantage. You don't think that Putin is like, basically, doling out orders to him as well? He's fucking indebted to them. So, I mean, there's so many.
This is an interesting fact. And this I didn't know, and I discovered this recently. After the election in 2012, when Romney got beat by Obama, before Trump spoke to anybody about what he wanted to do, he went and registered, trademarked, "Make America Great Again." Before he talked to Steve Bannon, before any of these people got to him, he registered that because he knew what he was going to do.
But he did have Roger Stone at that time.
He had Roger Stone. But my point is, it's not like there's this team of people that were, this is a dude who, like, saw what he was going to do and he did it. You know?
I don't
My
think it's
idea.
an individual decision. I think there was a team of people even with him then that like are helping advance like his agenda. Like, here's what we're gonna do. It's not. I don't think this has ever been an individual fucking decision for him. He's not a fucking genius. He's just not. There's no way that
Genius, I think that's I don't think anybody's accusing Donald Trump of being a genius.
I think that if he wanted to manipulate you, he could manipulate you.
I agree with that. I think
Okay,
he is
then
powerful.
it's ridiculous to call him stupid. He could get you to do what he wants you to do.
I don't know
mean,
about
when
me.
I
don't know about me,
I
but
know.
but
listen, the guy, it's, I've
Like, is that a form of intelligence? That I can manipulate people?
I mean, we have to,
Because I always felt when I was with him, he was looking right fucking through me. Like he was like the velociraptor in Jurassic Park. You know, everyone makes fun of the little velociraptor with his little, little tuft of hair on his head. And the velociraptor is looking at you going, I'm going to fucking take your shit, motherfucker. Okay, your wife, okay, we're going to start right there. When I'm banging your wife and driving your Mercedes, okay? Yeah, and you're going to be in a fucking work camp in fucking Guatemala. Got it? You know, that he could look right fucking through you. It was weird. And everyone said the same thing. Like, there are other people from SNL walking out there going, what the fuck was that? Because while you're talking, right? While you're talking, his eyes get like slits and he's just... and he's reading. Oh, maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
What do I know about people?
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Gold
know
standard.
nothing about
you know what,
humans.
I don't disagree. Actually do agree with that. I don't know him, but I do think that he's like very. I do think that he, like what you said, but all the other ways of intelligence, I don't think he has it.
Well,
yeah, but in D.C., do you need it? Do you need to know what the fucking Magna Carta is? In
Well,
D.C.?
it's like Breitbart said, politics happen downstream of culture, and he is a genius with culture. So people can do all the political work while he deals with the culture, because people ultimately vote on culture, not on policy generally.
But to
they're
be
they're
able to
voting for who they think is sticking up for them, even if they're writing policies that shoot them in the foot. It's just...
Yeah, but to be able to look at you and figure out the one thing he can say to you that will change you today. For the better?
I think
for the
he's too
worse?
narcissistic to be a puppet. Can you be a puppet if you don't think you're a puppet?
Does anybody at all think that, he has mental illness at this point? I mean, I think he has mental illness.
Louis has a
but-
theory called solipsism. Go ahead, Louis.
Have you heard the term solipsism? Solipsistic?
No, but does it come from syphilis?
No, it doesn't. Although it could
could.
have potentially originated from. No, it's just it's a theory that the only things that can be real or truly known to exist are things in your own mind. And because he has a different, my take on him is he has a different relationship with the truth. He has a different, he is not burdened with any sort of moral compass. He's not burdened with any sort of, he's not worried. I truly believe he isn't, that he's the only president who 3 years in to his first term, Obama was 42, he looked 38 when his inauguration. 3 years in, the man looked 52. Trump looks younger now than he did when he got inaugurated. This guy sleeps like a fucking baby every night.
He actually he said that though, I think somewhere. Someone asked him how he sleeps at night, and he said, "Great."
I had this
Like a
term.
baby.
I used to joke about this. I said, "How'd you sleep last night?" I said, "I slept like a sociopath." And it's just like, I'm not saying Trump is a sociopath, but I'm just saying that. Just look at that. When has a president ever been 3 years in and looked this young?
Let me put this before the panel. Yesterday he was on television giving a little speech about the wall. What? Am I what?
No, I was laughing at the bell. It keeps ringing. Like I'm a waitress, so I'm like, is there an order?
Fries up.
So Trump is there yesterday on Meet the Press. They cut to a clip of him, and he's talking about the Mexicans south of the border are using a catapult now. They're catapult
like it's Monty Python.
He's like, and we put a little slant up there, and because they're using a catapult. He's like, they're using a catapult now.
It's like a fucking
They're
cartoon.
catapulting themselves, and then
It doesn't say where they're landing or what. They're just hitting the side of the
when
mountain.
need be, they're catapulting the drugs over the wall.
Catapult.
And he's saying this to his people. He's like, we gotta beware the catapult now. These fuckers are using the catapults and shit.
And you'll hear that repeated in Trump.
He said it so convincingly. I was like,
Is there catapults?
Is there?
Like,
But that's all you need. You need that little bit of doubt. And
No, but it's
someone who
so-
always already wants to believe it.
it's
is
so
gonna run
real
with
to
it.
him.
go ahead, Dustin. You
Is,
rang
yeah.
that bell a while ago. Sorry, babe.
mental health
Order
fact
up.
check. December 5th, a petition signed by 350 psychiatrists and other mental health professionals claiming that President Donald Trump's mental health is deteriorating rapidly amid impeachment proceedings is set to be submitted to Congress.
Again, it's like
I
that's.
guess-
yeah.
I mean,
That-
350.
Psychiatrists and other mental health professionals claiming
I
that
don't know.
his health is deteriorating.
I would go with that.
They think that.
I wonder what the
That's-
diagnosis is, though.
Yeah, what is it? They're just all
They-
signed a piece of paper saying this man is
It's
slowly
crazy.
losing his marbles
Rapidly.
as
means
they're trying
fast.
to impeach him.
Because solipsism doesn't sound healthy to me. Like, if it's only real if it's in your mind.
I mean, listen, I
Solipsism
don't-
is like narcissism on steroids, really. It's like, it's narcissism. This gentleman can probably explain solipsism much better than me. But he's obviously a narcissist. No one can say the man is not a narcissist, right? It's like narcissism on steroids, solipsism.
What's really funny to me,
which
and I
is
think
a
about
mental
this.
illness.
Yeah, I think about this a lot. Is imagine that you're a narcissist and you think the world revolves around you, and then it does. like
Yeah.
it suddenly
and then it
does.
does. He,
Are
he
you
thinks
wrong?
these things in his mind, and they.
He's
and they
like,
come
"Oh,
true,
it's like
like-
now it came
So
true. I always
mind-blowing.
knew it was all
Yeah,
about me.
like,
Yeah,
I
because
was
you
right.
Because if you're like Melania, you can't go in there and go, "You think the world revolves around you?" Like, but it does.
Yeah,
It's-
he was right.
It does revolve
He
around
was
me.
I don't think
Right.
she's saying anything, by the way. But to your point of like the
Is
moral
she a
part,
spy?
no, I just feel bad for her. I don't know.
Okay.
I
The
think
moral what
she's
were you gonna say?
I'm
silent.
pretty
My
certain
point-
she was human trafficked into that situation.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God. We didn't say that, right, Louie?
That was our
fact
guess.
check?
Yeah.
She
I-
she
I
was
can-
introduced to Trump by she was at a club working.
Epstein.
She was working at a club. The guy who owned the club introduced her to Trump. I do not know her situation at that club. If she was a working girl, like a sex worker of some sort, a stripper, prostitute, I have no idea. But that's how they were introduced.
Well, if that was against the law, then every woman in Los Angeles who's ever met anybody would probably.
No, at a strip
judge-
club.
Well-
She was working at this strip club. That's
Yeah.
how they were introduced. And a lot of people who are foreign born in a strip club are not necessarily there legally and have to stay there because of fear of being ejected from the country. So I'm curious. I'm curious what her situation was. I mean, I'm not saying I have a theory, but obviously it can't be proved at this point. But
Yeah, I don't
think
like
she
to
was
take away
trafficked.
her agency like that.
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
think-
I
No,
think
I
that
totally-
like she
'Cause they say
might
she's a-
want to be in that relationship and to maybe they have a loving relationship. Who knows? I don't.
But
like
I've also
to-
heard the rumor she was a really good mom.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
believe
Like
that.
a really good mom to that kid.
You know, when I think
Fair.
about their marriage, I think about one thing, and there's all this supposition, there's all this theory, and I think about something that the man to my left said to me once. He said, I went out with Donald and Melania to dinner, and he said they were the most charming, fun couple I've ever been to dinner with.
Yeah.
This is what he said. The most charming, fun couple he'd ever been to dinner with. And this was how many, this is not a Republican saying that. This is a dude. And am I wrong or did
Yeah,
he not
and
say
he
that
also,
to me?
when you're in his office, I mean, he's a really charming guy. But yeah, we had dinner, and I think the police commissioner, Raymond Kelly, was there. It was for a police athletic league. I did 10 minutes of stand up, and then we had dinner, and it was sorry, fun.
I'm not saying, but you
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
said, but you also said he knew exactly how to work you and anybody else.
Okay.
So who says?
No, I
who's to
said I
say
had that
he
instinct
wasn't-
once coming from his office. That night, did I have a fun dinner with him and Melania? I did.
I was just so
enjoyable.
surprised when you told me that they were like, because you can't fake charm with each other. You can't fake that. I'm sorry, you just can't. You go to dinner with a couple and they're charming and they're funny and they can banter together and they're setting up each other's jokes. You don't fake that. So that shows
You
me that
can-
they
I'm
actually
sorry, you
have
can totally fake that
a
shit.
legitimate.
Yeah, fact check.
You can fucking fake that shit.
I
I was
don't
with
think so.
someone for 5 years. 2 weeks in, I knew that it was fucking wrong, and I stayed for fucking 5 years. My fucking fault, not her fault. We faked that shit for 4 years. It's fucking possible.
Well, maybe what
My
I mean to
parents
say is
for
I
18
don't
years.
think that what happened?
Yeah, my parents for like 18 years looked great.
All right, so everybody
Wait,
wants to just
fake
say
loving
Louis
you,
wrong.
or
The point
and-
is, the fillet of sole was good.
Thank you. The fillet of sole was
It was
great.
a really nice dinner. We had red wine that was capricious with a hint of stateliness. You know those wine things they say. Anyway,
I don't know,
I've
I
also
think about
been
that.
fooled.
I think about that. I think about, listen, and I had an experience with him years and years ago, and I walked away from it thinking, I actually talked to my dad. My dad said, what, because he was at our house, and my dad said, what did you, this is in like 92. He said, what did you think of this guy? I said, and this is when he was, he was Donald Trump. And I said, I might be, I feel kind of crazy saying this. But is he kind of dumb? Does he come across as kind of stupid? And my dad was like, yeah, he sort of comes across as stupid, right? And that's the way he made us feel when we spoke to him back in 92. But in retrospect, when you look at all of it, it's like that's like part of what he does. It's like part of what he does. He has that really simple thing about him that you will question this guy's intelligence when you're sitting across from him. But then you look at the totality of what he does. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he's really dumb, but he got my wallet.
Can I just ask him something?
Yes.
You had a personal experience with him. Was
Yes.
it one time?
Yeah, it was for about 2 weeks, yeah. We hung
Okay.
out for a couple weeks.
Okay. And approximately how much time, I mean, in literal, like, hours did you spend with this person?
We skied every day for 2 weeks. We were in the gondola itself for
Howdy.
hours
I would
and
love to
hours.
see him ski.
We were,
So on the gondola, riding up
yeah,
to the top of the mountain,
Very
you had
nice,
these
man.
conversations, and then you would ski down. You wouldn't have a conversation on the slopes.
we would go out
actually.
every night, though.
And you would go out
after
every
that,
night
yeah.
to clubs,
Yes.
dinner, that sort
Dinner,
of thing.
we'd go to dinners.
Yeah. And so approximately how many hours did you spend with him and that sort of thing? I'm just
Where's
curious.
this going?
Oh,
I'm into this. It's like a courtroom
I would
drama.
say,
Now, damn it.
I don't know, probably 70, 80 hours.
70,
So
80
much
hours
more
in
than
2
I-
weeks.
that's so
6
much more
hours
than
a day
I
for
spent with
6
him.
hours
Wow,
a day
that's
for,
like
for
it's
2
a fucking
weeks.
full-time job right there. 40 hours a week.
Well, when
there
you're on a
couple
ski
weeks.
vacation, you ski and then you're out with
Yeah.
them at night and you go to lunch. And this was over a period of couple. We spent a lot of with Ivanka.
At the
kid.
risk of
that-
sounding like a dick,
Yeah.
I just don't think that kind of a trip
Uh-huh.
that you can actually and like you know what, I've met people and spent time with them. I can't make a fucking full statement on who they really are without being in and out of their lives like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
To like, I mean,
I didn't
respect
say.
it.
I didn't
No,
say. But what I did say is that was my experience with them, and that's my opinion based on my experience, which was right. Was only 2 weeks, but it's 2 weeks longer than you've spent with them, and you have very strong opinions about it.
Yeah,
That's my.
yeah.
So who gives a
Point-
shit? It's
but-
like, you know what I mean?
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Louis, what was Trump's relationship to you? Like, how would he be presenting himself to you?
Well, he was dating my sister.
Right.
Trying to date my sister. So he was definitely on his best, his best foot forward.
Right.
But listen, people have said that same argument to me. I was at dinner with this woman when I said that story and I said this thing, and she was telling me about, we were talking about Hillary and the whole thing, and she goes, "Well, yeah, you obviously know because the 2 weeks you spent with them." And I said, "Well, that's 2 weeks longer than you spent with them."
which
It's
is
the
not
same
much.
thing. It's
which
but
is
it's
still not much.
But you're making
have
the
but you have
context thing is
you
like-
have a definitive opinion of this guy. You are saying categorically he's a fucking idiot.
Which you and I actually don't differ all that
You know-
much on this.
My point is that you have an opinion about this guy and you've never met him. But you're discounting the fact that I have spent time with him and me forming my opinion.
I'm not discounting it to nothing, but I
Yeah.
am discounting it. I'm not saying it's nothing, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is it's not some major fucking insight into who he is. It's
I
just,
never claimed major insight. We can we can
it-
rewind the tape
No,
and
but I'm just
listen to this.
saying that,
Can
like,
we?
how, I guess, in all honesty, and again, it sounded like a risk of a dick and disrespecting you on your own fucking show. Like, I just don't think that it's that much of a fucking value to, like, to say that because of this experience you had with him, that you have some sort of insight into, and I just don't think it's that. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's that valuable. I don't.
We should
Well, I was saying it more anecdotally than me having some. So I'm not going to be doing any TED Talks on Trump because of my ski vacation with him. That's not why I brought it up. I was just bringing it up anecdotally, and that's where I got that opinion of him being nice and charming in the time that I spent with him.
And I apologize. I think that it's an interesting story.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much of value it is to insight to who he really is.
I don't,
And
I
that
really
you're,
don't know.
I mean, and actually, I think your other experience with him and watching him deteriorate or whatever it is, or evolve into what I forget the term that you used to call him. What you call it?
Solipsism.
What is it?
Solipsism?
Yeah.
Solipsistic.
I mean, actually, seems like it came more from not that experience, but from
Yeah.
your other experience of watching him. That actually sounds more valuable to me.
Yeah, and again, you're absolutely right.
Hey, Bridget, you got any fun
Bridget,
facts
yeah.
about the
What?
news?
No, I'm serious. But I wasn't bringing that up like I'm an authority on him because of this 2 weeks. I was bringing this up as an added thing where I actually spent time with him and he was a charming, nice guy, and that was
Okay,
it.
all
That's
right.
all I was saying.
Okay.
Do you have any, Bridget? Do we have any cultural awesomeness we want to talk about?
I mean, no, but I
Oh,
I do want to talk about the protesters who interrupted Bernie Sanders. That was fun.
do we
Kinda
all know
funny.
about this? The protesters who went on stage topless and poured the red ketchup.
blood? No, it was
milk?
milk that was blood colored. They went. They were topless.
To protest.
I really only wanted to talk about.
Did he let them
boobs.
have stage time? I didn't see it. Did he
one
let
guy
them
in
have
the
stage
audience.
time?
They were topless. What?
They were. He let the. Well, I'm gonna let Bridget explain it. Go ahead, Bridget.
What was the question?
Did he let them have stage time?
They kind of bum rushed the stage. Not really. He just moved aside, and then they got mad at him and said that he was supporting the dairy lobbies and that they were big supporters. And then two women who were topless ran up and poured milk that was red colored on them on their chests, and then they all got taken off
Was
on
Ben
their
and Jerry's
on
there?
their breasts.
'Cause they
yeah, it
actually,
was
like-
hilarious. It was hilarious.
What were they protesting against?
He didn't really know how to handle the whole situation. It was he just looked like an old man that was totally confused.
Befuddled.
But he said a couple witty retorts.
Yeah, he said something funny when he got back. He said, "We're in Nevada and some crazy stuff happens here," or something like that.
Is there a shot with him and them?
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
video.
Did this
Of
happen
course.
today?
Everyone had their
Yeah.
guys
Is this
are like
today?
meerkats when boobs
Yeah,
come
it's
out.
true.
They're like
That's true.
boobs. Like everyone just had
like
video.
that guy.
Listen, I think it was great. I think Bernie, the fact that he came back with anything, is probably a lot. I mean, listen, there's it's probably got one up on Joe Biden.
But more importantly,
It's not too
how
quick on
can
the old,
somebody get that close to anybody who's running for president? That's a little unnerving. That's bad, right? I mean, I feel like it's a little dangerous for these guys. There's
He's
some
already
crazy-
qualified for Secret Service protection, correct?
He should have.
No,
I mean,
not till they get. I
win
don't
the
think
primary.
until
you
they get the
kind of
nomination.
can't get 10 feet from the fucking president. I don't think that's
He's got
possible.
heavy security though.
I
the
did-
DNC's like, we'll let that slide.
Yeah, DNC's not protecting Bernie Sanders.
Do you, Dustin? Can you
Yeah,
check?
they're like,
Yeah.
we don't need to protect
Do you have to win the
Bernie."
primary to get Secret Service?
Bernie doesn't. I'm sure Bernie's. Yeah, I don't think. But I'm pretty sure they get Secret Service protection once they get the nomination. Then they get Secret Service protection through the election, and then you don't have Secret Service protection if you lose the election.
I want to know more about our guest.
Yeah, I want to know about. So you are.
Besides that I'm argumentative.
No,
dick.
listen. That's why we have people come on the show. Thank you for all your opinions. What do you do?
I'm a comic and I'm an actor.
Oh, all right.
It's so weird in this town.
Yeah,
I know.
you're the one.
I know. Am I the first on?
How'd you end up in a
Yeah.
place like this?
I know, right?
Comic and an actor. Where do you perform?
I'll be here tomorrow night on this stage.
On this one or in the big room?
On this one.
All right.
I was on the other one a couple weeks ago,
Awesome.
but yeah.
And
So
you
I do
act?
stand up. I do.
And what sort of mediums?
Television and theater.
Where-
Theater.
I did theater in New York last summer. I did. Are you familiar with Playwrights Horizons? It's a theater on 9th Avenue, I think. That's 9. It's like 9th and 42nd. Anyway, but it's like a really old original. Like really fosters the playwright, and it was a show called Log Cabin, and it was a very queer take. It was actually really traumatic because it takes place just before the election when Hillary loses. And the play closes on that note, and it's really disturbing.
Well, she's running again, so you'll be fine.
Do you know that Vegas gives her like 5% odds of winning?
Yeah, she's on the list.
She's on the list.
so
My
Vegas.
friend Anwar gave us a list
That's so
of
crazy.
Vegas betting odds, which are more reliable.
Do
and
we think
she's on the
Bloomberg would
list.
actually put her on his ticket?
Dude, if I had billions of dollars, I would totally punk a nation that way. I'd be
Just
like,
for fun. Just
whatever.
for shits and giggles.
I'm gonna run. I'm gonna make Hillary the Veep, and then I'm gonna resign on day
disturbing.
one.
It's so fucking disturbing.
I mean, yeah. Every time I ask this question in the audience, I've yet to have one person be like, "Does anybody in this audience would like to see Hillary Clinton on the Democrat on the ticket in any way, shape, or form?"
I mean,
on the Democratic
purely
ticket?
for entertainment, yes.
No, absolutely not.
But to win the election, does anybody in this audience think that?
Who
they
do
would
you
go?
want right now?
I've been Bernie since.
From
Yeah.
from 2016.
I like Bernie.
Yeah.
My take on Bernie is, I was talking to Darrell about this before, is that he has a base that's energized like Trump's base.
Is he
You
going to
know?
pick Stacey Abrams
I hope.
for his?
I really do
his vape?
hope. I would love. for
I
him
know
to
her
pick her.
brother. I'm gonna get him to come on the show.
You know her brother?
Yeah.
Do you
God,
guys-
you know everybody's
You guys go on a
brothers or
ski
sisters.
trip together?
What did he say? I didn't hear it.
Just curious. I said,
He
did you
said,
go on a
"Did you-"
ski trip together?
No, we've not gone on a ski trip yet, but we're planning one. Spring skiing. No, I met him just a few weeks ago. Stacey Abrams' brother.
Huh.
Interesting.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Maine.
Oh, okay. Are
There we
you?
go.
Oh my
Now
God,
it
so
makes sense.
weird.
That's how
Dustin
I-
David Darrell is from Maine.
That's right.
Wait, I'm from Maine.
You guys don't know each other?
No,
Oh no, we
So
started doing
weird.
comedy together.
Yeah, we did.
It's
Long
just
time
in
ago.
Cape
Oh, that's so
Elizabeth.
cool.
Oh
It's nice
yeah,
over there.
yeah.
Huh.
It's where the one percenters
pretty.
live.
Is that like a rich area?
It's
of
super
Maine?
rich. Yeah.
Is it really?
It's ridiculous. Yeah. If you want to like make fun of rich people and you're on the stage in Portland, Maine, you're like, oh, what are you from Cape Elizabeth? It's like the.
All right, I want to do something real quick before we end, and I think this will be kind of fun. Just with where we're at right now, who do you think, and I want everybody to answer this, who do you think has the best possibility of winning if they're on the Democratic ticket? Knowing that Trump's probably not going to lose, but who do you think has the best chance of winning right now?
It's a tricky one. I still think Bernie. I do think he can outplay Trump in certain ways, and that's just that battle.
Don't
though
you
he's
think he
78 years
loses
old.
moderates though? Like all the moderates? I mean, most moderates I know would rather vote for Trump than like someone who's a socialist.
Yeah, there'll be stay-at-homes for, but look, like it's not about turning out. It's not about changing the minds of boomers or trying to figure out where all the centrists are in the world, like whatever.
I'm
that
not even talking
means,
centrist.
like-
I'm talking like Biden boomers.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you need to turn out young people, minorities, women, and he is the person who can do that best out of them, and that's why I think he has the best chance.
Ian,
That's
what do you
who
think?
need to turn out.
I agree.
You
I
think
totally
Bernie?
agree. I totally agree. And I also think that he doesn't, and to go up against Trump, and for Trump to want to dig up dirt on people, he has never had to fucking change his mind on an issue. He's always been on the right side of issues, and it's one of the things that I don't think that he could possibly be defeated in a conversation about, like, race or workers' rights or LGBT issues.
I think that Trump will be able to make such hay out of the socialism tag that by the time we get to the election, most of the people are going to think he's Chairman Mao.
Darrell, who do you think has the best chance of beating Trump then right now?
Probably no one.
There's no star on the Democratic Party, obviously, but if you had, we're saying you have to choose right now. I have who I choose, president and vice president. I'm ready to go.
I wouldn't underestimate Bloomberg.
There's so much dirt coming out about him now.
Yeah, but what kind of dirt? He said the chick had nice tits? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like
kissing a teenager on stage and saying he's shameless. He's gross.
I think it's more
He's
the
gross.
racial stuff will hurt him, but I do think
Stop and frisk.
Trump that one's a good one though. For Trump versus Bloomberg is like a good even keel
Trump,
as far as like no one's gonna care about that.
He kissed
kind
a girl on stage?
Yeah.
Bloomberg.
I think Bloomberg
Yeah,
has like
a couple of
48
days ago.
allegations of sexual assault.
And
No, sexual assault. It's
wasn't
something
he on?
else.
Wasn't he on the Lolita Express as well?
He was in Epstein's Black Book.
Yeah.
There's a page out of that.
You know, listen,
his
Trump
name's
is the
on there.
only one who, and I was corrected on this because I actually saw the tape of this. Trump is the only one who actually said, there's the clip of Trump saying, yeah, he likes young girls just like I do. The rest of that clip is Trump saying he likes them a little bit too young. He likes them a lot younger than I do, but they don't show you that part of the Trump clip. You know?
Yeah, they
it's
play
like
that.
but here, I think that this is the ticket that could have the best chance against Trump right now. Buttigieg and Klobuchar as VP.
Maybe you should
I
learn
just-
how
Yeah,
I
you
think
should
so.
learn
say
his name and then.
Pistol Pete Buttigieg
And Klobuchar?
and Klobuchar is the VP.
No way.
I just think that'd be enough of the center. Nobody agrees with me, but I'm just telling you. But this is the problem. Nobody definitively knows, and this is why, spoiler alert, Trump is going to win. You know,
Very
there's no
likely.
star, and it's a
I don't
shame.
think you
but
can even. I mean, it's very hard to unseat an incumbent with a good like when the economy's good. So there's just that fact. It's
Yeah.
nearly impossible. It doesn't happen. So if the economy stays, yeah, I think it's hard to.
who
Who
do you think has the best shot against him right
I don't know. I think Bernie could go up against him, but I don't think he could beat him. You know, I think in terms of like the election, like yeah, rip the gloves off. Let's do this socialism v capitalism thing.
You have an app, right?
I do.
Does the app and what is it? You're the Shadow Company, is that
I'm
right?
Shadow,
Yeah.
from
And
Iowa.
so
Shadowing.
I help elections.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
does your
Data.
app
Not
poll?
determine things.
Does your app poll?
We do polls, yes.
And who are you polling, and what are your polls saying? I'm just curious, and I
So
know that every
we're-
poll is bullshit, whatever. But I'm just
Yeah.
curious what yours says.
Yeah, we kind of take a different approach, and I think the most traditional polls are small sample sizes, and they take basically the pulse of the country off of 400 people, and we kind of take the approach where we want to go and talk to all of the people. So we have people in 50 states, but we're an issue-based app, mostly for young people to get activated around issues they care about rather than party allegiance. So we do a lot of polling around issues.
Common
We
ally?
do. Common ally.
Dustin, who do you think is going to win the election? Who could go best against Trump right now? Quickly.
I mean, I'm kind of cheating because I have the Quinnipiac results, but it says Sanders +8. So Bernie Sanders.
All right.
Is that
Well,
what
we're
you're
going to
supposed to-
go because it's we're exhausted. And it's been a long night.
No
let's-
nap over here.
No nap. Let's do some Dustin, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I'll be here next Monday at the Hollywood Improv.
What time?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. next Monday.
For
That'll
Darrell
be a
Hammond
lot.
Saves the World.
All right, Aaron, we discussed yours, Common Ally, yeah?
Yeah, commonally.com. Download the app, and then you can ridicule me later. So please do.
Awesome. Ian?
You just come see me here tomorrow night. You can follow me at ianharvey.com. All my tour dates are on there.
Awesome.
Bridget. I just want to thank the audience for being
Yes,
so awesome.
thank you
I
guys
don't
for
think
coming.
I don't think we saved the world tonight, but we'll try.
I think we did.
We'll keep trying.
keep
You
trying.
can find me on Twitter at Bridget Fedesi, and I have a show on YouTube called Dumpster Fire where we make fun of all the news, and a podcast called Walk-Ins Welcome where I interview just anyone who wants to come. So hit me up.
Darrell?
This is my retirement broadcast.
Darrell Hammond's final broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Darren will be with me here next Monday at 8. And yeah, we'll be here saving the world. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.